What's up guys, this is Retro Collector 101 back here with another video, and in this video I will be comparing three Nintendo Game Boys, the Game Boy Pocket, the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Light. So throughout this video I'll be going through a three-step criteria. Number one, we'll be talking about each of their individual designs. Step two in the criteria, we'll be talking about, well, it's going to be a bit different. So what I'm going to do is have a big comparison between the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Light, and then give the Game Boy Pocket a bye to the next round. And then the one who is better in the comparison with the Game Boy Light and the Game Boy Color will be compared with the Game Boy Pocket in the finals. So I know it's a bit different. I'm going to do it in like a 2-round, but hopefully you guys like that. And then for the third step in the criteria, it will be why you should buy the winning Game Boy. So without further ado, why don't we jump straight into the video. So for this video, I decided to step into this sequential order. So that means that the Game Boy Pocket goes first. The Game Boy Pocket was released in 1996. This handheld has a non-backlit two-tone display. It only has green, or well, it's kind of green-gray crisscross type of color, and black. So it's kind of similar to the Game Boy DMG, but at the same time it is a bit better. It's also a lot slimmer than the Game Boy DMG. The buttons are quite comfortable. I really like them. I really like the membrane tactility. I also find that the start and the select buttons are still responsive. This Game Boy can be found for a very cheap price these days. It can go for maybe 30, 40, maybe 50 bucks tops. I have not really seen them unless they were like a rare variant for over $100. So these are quite easy to find. You can really find them anywhere, probably at your local gaming store. So, like, taking a look at the back, not much is special. There is the battery compartment, of course. It takes AAA batteries. Very nice. It's also a flat back, so it's quite comfortable, but at the same time, it's not adding enough dimension, I feel, for it to be the most comfortable, like the Game Boy Advance. I really like how it's sideways. I don't know, it's really personal preference. I also find that my hands are a bit too close when I am controlling this handheld, but other than that, this handheld is pretty good onto its own. Lastly is the power button. So the power button is at the top. It only has 2 modes, on and off. Battery life on this thing is pretty spotty. Sometimes you get 20 hours of battery life, sometimes you get 40. It really depends on the type of batteries you're using. That's pretty much it for the Game Boy Pocket. So next up is the Game Boy Light. So the Game Boy Light was a Japanese exclusive. This was released in 1998, in April, I think, a few months before the Game Boy Color. So Nintendo decided that they kind of needed a bit of an upgrade. Nintendo Japan actually thought that it was the right decision to make, since competitors like Sega were releasing top-tier backlit displays. So Nintendo came out with the Game Boy Light. The Game Boy Light, first off, is quite similar in size to the Game Boy Pocket that I can bring right here. It is relatively light, a bit heavier. It does use AA batteries, which does add on a bit of heft. But one thing that I do like with that addition of the AA batteries is that you get a better grip. So you can actually put your finger in between the slot, and it adds a bit more of comfortability. Also, the AA batteries give it a bit of a heft that really makes it feel a bit more premium. I don't know if it's just me, but that's just something I like. Buttons are basically identical to that of the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Pocket. It's very membraney, it's a membrane tactility. The buttons are quite comfortable. Start and select are still quite responsive. Now, the biggest difference between this and the other two is the power button. So it has off, on, or you can go to the very edge, which will turn on the backlight, which you can see there. Also has contrast and volume, which is a very nice addition, and is something I forgot to mention that the Game Boy Pocket has. So if you take a look right there, you can probably see the 3 streaks. That's basically the different modes that the power button can go to. Now, talking about games, I forgot to talk about this, but the Game Boy Pocket and the Game Boy Light can both only play original Game Boy games. Tell me if it's a setback. I don't know. I really like original Game Boy games, so it's not that big of a letback, honestly, for me at least. So last off is the Game Boy Color. So starting with the front, it has pretty comfortable membrane buttons, very similar to the Game Boy Light. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like it's a tiny bit raised. I don't know why, but I just feel like it's that way. I feel it's a bit more clicky than that of the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Light. Very hard to notice, but I kind of noticed it when I clicked the buttons. A and B are basically just like the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Light. Select and Start are very responsive, but they are of a different shape compared to the other two. The screen is very nice. It is not backlit, even though this was released about 5 to 6 months after the release of the Game Boy Light. So this was released in 1998, just like the Game Boy Light, but a bit after. This does have a color display though, and therefore allows it to play Game Boy Color exclusive games that only work on the Game Boy Color or any of the Game Boy Advances except for the Game Boy Micro, of course. Taking a look at the back, you can see the AA battery compartment. It's very easy to use and it's basically quite similar to that of the Game Boy Light. The only difference is that the battery cover is just convex, so it's just one big lump, while the Game Boy Light is just, it has a bit of a devil or whatever. It basically goes in for a tiny bit by this Game Boy label. Other than that, it's very similar to the other two. It does have this type of wireless comm communications system that does work quite well, something you do not get with the other two, but other than that, this is very similar. Price-wise, you can find this for relatively cheap, probably about $10–20 more than the Game Boy Pocket, but nothing like the Game Boy Light. That will probably cost you over $100 Canadian. Now moving on to step 2, I will be doing what I said I would do. So I gave the Game Boy Pocket a bye to the next round, to the finale, but to see which other Game Boy makes it to that round, I'll have to be comparing the Game Boy Light with the Game Boy Color. So this was very difficult for me to do. It was really about either the Game Boy library, or sorry, the Game Boy Color library, or the Game Boy backlight feature. It really took me some time to think, but I really decided that I had to give the Game Boy Color basically the silver medal or the gold medal to bring it to the next round. I really like the backlight, but I also like the games on the Game Boy Color, even though the games on the Game Boy Color aren't that revolutionary, because you can probably find remakes of them on the Game Boy Advance that are just loads better. Just the fact that this cannot even play Game Boy Color games just was a bit of a setback, but then I thought that it did have the backlight lit screen, so that's why I decided to just compare prices, and since the Game Boy Color was just cheaper, I decided I had to just move this one to the next round. So lastly, in the finale is the basically the versus or comparison between the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Pocket, which moves us to the last step, which is which one should you buy? I don't know about you, but I just had to choose the Game Boy Color. It was actually a bit harder than you think. You may be thinking, well, what is this comparison? Isn't it just night and day, since this can play both Game Boy Pocket games and Game Boy Color games? Well, yeah, but also the Game Boy Color is a bit more expensive, and I don't know why, but it's a bit harder to find in better condition. Also, the Game Boy Color games, like I said before, aren't that great. The screen does add a bit of color, but at the same time you do need to pay up a bit of a premium for the AA batteries compared to the AAA batteries. So honestly, it wasn't really the Game Boy Color games that made me choose on this. It was just the fact that this could play both, which is why I just had to choose this. Also, one setback with this Game Boy is that for like some games like Mega Man, it kind of miscolors some of the characters. I don't know why, but it just does that, which was one of the setbacks. I would rather see it in black and white than with totally messed up colors. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So the Game Boy Color is the winner. If you like this video, then please hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more content like this, then please hit the subscribe button. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I know I told you guys that I was going to do a comparison with the DMG moving up, but I decided that the DMG and the Game & Watch were both like really bad handhelds, and I didn't really see a purpose in comparing those two. So the next one will probably be a comparison within the Game Boy Advance family, and then that will pretty much be it. Maybe I'll do a comparison with the DS, maybe I won't. So that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!